Most people look at a half-acre lot, just over 21,000 square feet, and see nothing but a boring patch of grass they have to mow every single weekend. But what if that exact same footprint, engineered the right way, could realistically feed multiple families and generate serious extra income without a single acre of farmland and without a single tractor? Back in the early 20th century, small market gardeners on the outskirts of major cities were quietly outproducing much larger farms using stacked microclimates, intensive soil building, and closed-loop animal systems. Today, homesteaders are rediscovering those exact same blueprints. The truth is, you do not need hundreds of acres, expensive machinery, or a massive bank account to move toward real food independence. What actually matters is not how much land you own, it is how intelligently you lay it out. By the end of this video, you will understand the 7 systems that make this kind of property work, and why most people who try backyard homesteading. Before we break down those 7 systems, I want to know something from you. If you had to pick one path first, would you go after high-value specialty crops for fast cash flow, or calorie-dense staple crops for long-term food security? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one, and if small-scale farming, homesteading, and land design content is something you are into, hit that subscribe button so you catch every new blueprint we put out. The first foundation of this entire system starts underground, long before a single seed goes into the dirt, through deep bed soil preparation. A lot of backyard growers make the same mistake every spring, running a mechanical rototiller through their beds. It makes the surface look nice and fluffy for a few days, but those spinning blades tear apart fungal networks, destroy earthworm tunnels, and create a hard pan layer just a few inches down that roots cannot push through. Once roots hit that wall, they stop growing downward, lose access to deeper moisture, and the plant becomes dependent on constant watering and fertilizer just to survive. By building permanent raised beds and loosening the soil down around 2 feet using broad forks instead of tillers, you create an open column of oxygenated living soil. This deep root pathway lets crops reach water and minerals naturally, which can meaningfully cut down how often you need to water and noticeably improve how much you harvest per square foot. Though exact results always depend on your soil type and climate. Once the soil is set up right, the second decision is how you divide your growing space. And this is where a lot of backyard growers go wrong. If you fill your whole property with tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers, it will look beautiful, but your family will not actually be able to live off it. To build something that can genuinely sustain people, the majority of your primary growing space, roughly 70%, should go toward high biomass, calorie-dense crops like grain corn, amaranth, sunflowers, and winter squash. These bigger plants also pull in a lot of organic material that eventually feeds your compost system. About 20% of your space should go to dense root crops like sweet potatoes, parsnips, and storage potatoes, which give you reliable daily calories. The remaining 10% is where your salad greens, fresh herbs, and delicate vegetables live, since those are more about variety and nutrition than raw calories. Growing plants alone will not close the nutritional loop because your body still needs quality fat and protein, which brings us to the third system, a closed-loop combination of meat rabbits and rotational laying hens. A single well-managed breeding trio of meat rabbits can realistically produce dozens of fryers a year under an intensive rotation, translating into a solid, steady supply of lean, efficient protein, since rabbits convert feed into meat far more efficiently than most livestock. Rabbit manure is also considered a cold fertilizer, meaning unlike fresh horse or cow manure, it will not burn your plants, so it can go straight onto active garden beds without composting first. Positioning rabbit hutches directly above or beside your vegetable beds means that manure drops right where it is needed, which cuts out a lot of the physical labor most homesteaders deal with hauling fertilizer around their property. Running alongside the rabbits is a flock of around 15 to 20 laying hens in a mobile rotational setup. Chickens are natural diggers and foragers, which makes them incredibly effective at breaking down weeds and hunting pest larvae in the soil. Instead of keeping them locked in a static coop, within a day or two, the flock strips out weed seeds, eats through soil pests, scratches up the topsoil, and leaves behind nitrogen-rich manure across that whole area. Once you move them to the next bed, the one they just worked is ready for replanting without you ever needing a tiller or a hoe. To close the loop even further and cut down on feed costs, the fourth system introduces black soldier fly larvae as a way to turn kitchen and garden waste into animal feed. A small black soldier fly bin, about the size of a household compost bin, can process that organic waste using larvae that eat at an incredible rate. It is worth being accurate here. The larvae do not fully convert everything in a couple of days. The full larval cycle from egg to harvestable larvae typically takes around 2 to 3 weeks under good conditions, though the larvae themselves are eating and growing the entire time. Once harvested, dried black soldier fly larvae are genuinely nutrient-dense, running somewhere around 40% protein and mid-30% fat on a dry matter basis, which makes them an excellent supplemental feed for your poultry flock and can meaningfully cut your commercial feed bill, while the leftover material, called frass, works as a strong organic fertilizer loaded with beneficial microbes. A system that only produces from May through September is not real food security. It is a seasonal hobby, and that is where the fifth piece comes in. Season extension using unheated high tunnels, cold frames, and simple hoop houses. By covering your most productive beds with low-cost hoop structures wrapped in UV-resistant plastic, you trap solar heat during the day and protect crops from freezing overnight. Unheated high tunnels can meaningfully raise the ambient soil and air temperature inside, effectively giving you a milder growing environment than what is actually outside your door. That advantage lets you keep harvesting cold-hardy crops like spinach, kale, and carrots well into the colder months and can allow 2 or even 3 growing cycles on the same footprint instead of just 1. The sixth piece is what actually pays the bills, a small dedicated section for specialty cash crops. It is simply not efficient to try growing bulk grain or pressing your own cooking oil on half an acre without expensive machinery. Instead, smart small-scale growers set aside somewhere around 500 to 1,000 square feet for high-value specialty items. Selling these directly to local restaurants and specialty buyers, often in the range of $15 to $25 per pound depending on the crop and your local market, can generate real, steady cash flow that most vegetable gardens simply cannot match. That income is then what lets you buy staple grains, flour, and oils in bulk from larger commercial producers, letting your land focus on what it is actually good at. Finally, the seventh layer that ties the whole system together long-term is a multi-tier perennial food forest. Annual vegetable beds need constant seeding, weeding, and replanting every single year. But a well-designed food forest keeps producing food year after year with very little ongoing labor once it is established. Along the edges of your half-acre, you can build a layered canopy starting with semi-dwarf fruit trees like apples, pears, and plums on top. Underneath, berry bushes like blueberries, blackberries, and currants fill the middle layer, supported at the ground level by nitrogen-fixing clover and comfrey. Comfrey is especially useful because its deep roots pull minerals up from far underground, and its leaves can be cut several times a season and used as a free, mineral-rich mulch for the rest of your garden. When you combine all 7 of these systems, deep soil building, smart crop allocation, closed-loop animal systems, waste-to-feed insect conversion, season extension, specialty cash crops, and a permanent food forest, you move from being a passive grocery store customer to running a genuinely productive, closely connected food system right outside your back door. It will not happen overnight, and it takes real planning and consistent work. So here's the real question. Most people never attempt something like this because it sounds like too much land to manage or too much work to start. Do you think a system like this is realistic for the average homeowner to build over a few years? If this breakdown helped you see your own backyard differently, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we have a lot more practical homesteading blueprints coming.